With high rates of cash-in-transit robberies, it runs the risk of becoming just another statistic. But for the families affected, it remains a very real and heartbreaking reality. There have been 250 attacks this year alone, and that number is expected to rise this festive season. In this special feature, eNCA senior reporter Dasen Thathiah takes a closer look at the crisis, and he speaks to those affected.
After what I just saw, a full-on half an hour of nothing but drama, lawlessness, and a highly trained group of criminals.
The expression daylight robbery can be no more literal than this. Here is a national freeway in the economic hub of South Africa. Over a leisurely 30 minutes or so, a group of criminals has free rein to blow up and empty an armored van. As startling as it is, it's only a microcosm of the broader cash-in-transit robbery crisis currently enveloping the country.
Year to date, we're sitting on about just over 250 incidents. Month on month, for the month of October, we see around about a 30% increase. Year to date increase from comparing with last year, we're sitting at about 8% increase in terms of the number of crimes. So extremely concerning, that we see the spike. We're coming into the festive period, which starts at the beginning of November, runs through to the middle of December.
The daring Johannesburg attack came only a day after KwaZulu-Natal police got into a gunfight with 4 CIT suspects.
We have a multidisciplinary task team that's working on the cash-in-transit robberies. They received information this morning that some of the men were hiding out at this house. When police officers breached the premises, they were met with gunfire, and that was the mistake that these men made, is trying to shoot their way out. During the shootout, all 4 men were fatally wounded. So there's the bodies of 4 adult males in the scene. There's a lot of explosives, as you indicated. As we currently speak now, the bomb disposal unit has arrived on the scene, and our bomb technicians are on the scene to remove those explosives safely. The investigators tell me there's 4 firearms on the scene, 2 automatic rifles as well as 2 pistols. There's also 2 vehicles, one of them with a Limpopo registration plate, but there's also in the vehicles there's a large quantity of number plates. So it's obvious that these people are changing their registration plates quite often. And one of the investigators was telling me that one of the registration plates was used in another cash-in-transit robbery in the province.
Members available, we've got a CIT in progress before Queen Nandi, Malandela.
In the week leading up to the shootout, there'd been at least 3 serious cash van robberies in KZN alone. 2 not far from where the suspects had been hiding out, and an earlier one south of Durban.
ALS paramedics currently mobile to an alleged cash-in-transit heist, where it's alleged that the vehicle has been bombed on the M35 near Forweni. At this stage, injuries are unknown. Further updates to follow.
3 guards caught up in a battle with criminals. 1 is critically injured, another seriously. And the 3rd, Stanley Hansraj, doesn't make it. He should have been off that day, but plans changed.
I was still in bed, and all I heard was my car leave the yard. So we didn't get to speak that morning. And I got ready, and when I'm waiting for my transport, we normally message each other. And his message to me was, "Good morning, beautiful. Trust you have a good day. Please pray, please be safe, be blessed." And I would reply with almost the same words, be safe, be blessed, have a good day. And we'll send each other hearts, picture messages. And that's the last time I obviously had communication with him.
Then the call came.
She asked me if I was Charlene Hansraj. And I said, yes, I am. And she says, I just need to tell you that Stanley's been injured. So she didn't elaborate as to what had transpired. She just said to me that, I said, my very first thought was, is he okay? And then I just went a bit louder. I said, is he okay? Is he live? Is he fine? And then she just put the phone aside and she went silent. And she couldn't disclose anything to me.
Her worst fears were realized when she was taken to his workplace. Stanley was no more.
We never thought, and even I said, if anything would happen, I know he would get injured. because he would put up a fight. But little did we know there were so many of them against him.
Hansraj says her husband loved his family fiercely and wore his uniform with pride.
He was a hard worker, a dedicated father. He was devoted to that job. His job was his everything. Even if I say, let's put leave, let's go away on holiday, he'll say, no, I gotta go to work. It's Saturday, they're gonna need me. They're busy.
They were acutely aware of the rise in CIT robberies, but Hansraj says her husband always put her mind at ease.
I was, but he always used these words, man of steel. He always said to me, nothing's going to happen to me. And he said to me, Shal, if they're going to put up a fight, I'm going to give them a fight,
But for so many tasked with protecting and moving money, they sometimes tragically lose that fight.
With the injury, we've got about 50, and then that has passed away for this financial year, 16 already. So definitely, if you look at the life of our people, our staff, etc., that's where a point where there is no respect for life anymore. Vehicles get bombed with staff in the vehicle, get shot at, and it's very, very difficult to prevent these robberies with these precision and the amount of attacks that are taking place.
The industry has spent a lot of money and are spending a lot of money in development of their vehicles, training of their staff. Unfortunately, when you look at these incidents, these criminals are getting access to explosives, and that's the concerning part. They just bring more explosives. You develop, you build a stronger vehicle, they bring more explosives. You've seen some of these explosions taking place where the shrapnel is shooting up 20, 30, 40 meters into the air. It's like a guillotine coming down.
You'll have the guy who's going to ram the vehicle, so you'll have to have a guy that is absolutely skilled in driving a vehicle, because he needs to obviously ram at the correct time and speed and to dismantle the truck. Then you're going to have to have the guy who can use the explosives. So you're going to have a guy, a technician regarding explosives. Then you're going to have the guys who are stopper groups. They wait for police reaction. So their job is just to look out for police. And then you get the team that will actually load the money into the vehicles. And then last of all, you got the drivers of the vehicles who need to be skilled, because if there's a high-speed chase, they cannot just buckle under pressure. So these are the sort of talents that they need in a crew to be successful.
This former SAPS member was part of a team trying to dismantle CIT gangs.
From past experiences and from past arrests, they have been they have mentioned that there is an inside man. That is how they know which truck and the route that they follow. So without the inside man, it will just be a pure gamble, because there are some trucks that travel empty to pick up, and you will not know. So all of that effort and all of that risk can go for a truck that's empty. So it definitely comes through from an inside man, and that is why every CIT you can see that they are successful in the amount of money that they take. There's very seldom you'll see a CIT truck that was hit or exploded and had no money.
Our vetting process within the industry is extremely stringent. We've got a combined vetting system that we use in the industry for CIT companies where staff are vetted. And, one can easily turn when you're working inside an organization. So, the guys are also from an investigative point. When we do believe that there's internal involvement, it's thoroughly investigated. That information is handed to the South African Police Service. Has there been any breaches in terms of procedures from a company perspective?
There's another challenge too.
You hear a lot of policemen have been arrested for CITs, ATM bombings, a lot of military guys. So yes, you're 100% right. These are all trained individuals that are part of these gangs that are actually doing these CIT. That is why when you look at it, you can see that these guys are actually tactically trained. Because yes, some of them are police, some of them are military, some of them are military from different countries that come in.
Criminals categorize CIT robberies as high risk and high reward.
They actually do a whole host of things. A lot of them do ATM bombings. A lot of them do business robberies, in the meantime while they are busy planning a CIT. I know a lot of them are actually hijackers. From personal experience, I also know a lot that they actually follow guys outside the bank and they rob them at banks, depositing money or withdrawing cash. So they do a lot of easy crime to get easy cash while busy planning a actual big job. We can say a high-risk job like a CIT.
According to Thathiah, Gauteng, Eastern Cape and KwaZulu-Natal, in that order, are worst hit by CIT robberies. Monday is the most dangerous day across the country for these crimes. And except for 2020, when the country was under lockdown, there's been a steady increase in cash-in-transit heists.
Look at from August this year to October this year, just over that few months, there were 32 incidents nationally. 32 incidents nationally. And, in terms of business confidence, law enforcement is very good in responding to the threat. My biggest worry is, what is crime intelligence doing about it?
Although criticized by some for their seemingly slow pace, the SAPS and the Hawks have had success on some fronts. Perhaps the most notable being in Limpopo in September.
We understand that these thugs, they are out there determined to take whoever's life they come across. Hence, we also make sure that when we go to them, we use the elite specialized units to handle them.
There have also been other arrests since then, and some of the items recovered illustrate the level of precision used. Police issue vests and weapons, and even signal jammers.
It just obviously delays the police call time, because once a police jammer is used, you must remember there's no channel that works on the police radios. The signal on the cell phones will not work. So what happens is, let's say they are busy doing a CIT robbery, the community itself will not be able to phone. They will not be able to alert the police. So they're only going to possibly alert the police once they're out the area, which that gives them about a 10 minutes lead, which obviously makes it much harder for you to know the route that they took and stuff like that. So it's just basically delaying the alertness to the police.
The business community is worried. But although mooted, a cashless South Africa may be a distant dream due to economic realities.
No doubt it's impacting business. It's actually impacting the banks, the transporters that's managing it. Insurance climbs up, which means that the insurance for the vehicles go higher and the cost of moving money becomes very expensive.
We don't realize sometimes how important CIT is, the collection of cash every day, the transportation of cash. And it keeps the economy of South Africa rolling, the wheels rolling in terms of the economy. And, what we're seeing at the moment is almost becoming unacceptable with a number of these incidents. As I've said, a large number of vehicles already destroyed this year. And every time you do that, you're taking one of those vehicles out of circulation. And the operational pressure just grows and grows and grows. Companies are, however, replacing these vehicles, keeping up, but it's becoming almost unmanageable.
This is really, if you look at the state of this industry and where we are now, it's crucial. You spoke about cash declining. Unfortunately, cash is not declining in South Africa. It's actually increasing. You look at the informal settlements in the areas, and remember, we collect all these cash at all these areas.
Videos captured at the scenes of CIT heists are increasingly showing people running towards the wreckage, presumably to get any remaining money. Thathiah and the SAPS say that's not only dangerous, it's also a crime.
The public are actually committing a crime when they go to these scenes as they're destroying forensic evidence. We know again that with our situation that we face within South Africa, these incidents are taking place in rural areas, most of them where there are communities. And if there's any cash left over, naturally they rush to get that cash. We're saying to the communities, please, stay away from that. A lot of secondary explosions that don't go off, a lot of danger, to themselves.
There have been calls for more to be done, like bolstering police teams and roping in the military. But the former SAPS member we spoke to says the solution may be even simpler.
Bringing in the army and bringing in fire force or fight is not really going to assist, because you're not going to know where they're going to do the CIT. I would say personally, if I had to put a solution, all the CIT personnel, I would have them in their contracts to sign that they can undergo a polygraph at any time. And should they not be successful, they will either end the contract, and it will prevent obviously leakage of information regarding the CIT trucks. That will be a better solution. And also another thing to look at, is changing the die stand on the money. These guys, what are they doing? They cleaning this money, they washing the money, and maybe some solution to provide a die stain that's not able to be washed.
But to families in mourning, it's all just noise right now, and perhaps too little, too late.
No matter how much anybody tries to do, they're never going to bring him back. Yeah, we're just devastated, because my saying is too young, too soon. We planned a big 40th for him in Jan. He would turn 40. And he never got to have all this, And he wasn't a man of money. He was like, if you see it, you like it, I'll buy it. And, people that needed his help, he'd render his help. When he had the time, he'd render his help. He'd come on the days that I work, he'd say to my mom, Ma, what do you need? Where do you need to go? He'd ask the girls, where do you all want to go? Where can I take you all? So he tried to give as much time to his family.
I'm Dasen Thathiah in Durban.